Today, we are diving into one of the most mysterious, most influential texts in all of Jewish mysticism, the Zohar. We're going to peel back the layers and figure out what makes this book so incredibly unique. And it's not just what it says, but how it says it.
I mean, listen to that. Never seen light in his or her life. That's a pretty bold statement, right? It tells you right away that the Zohar isn't just some book. For centuries, it's been seen as a source of pure spiritual illumination. So what on earth is this thing?
So the name itself, Zohar, literally means splendor or radiance. And yeah, it is the absolute cornerstone of Kabbalah. It's this huge, sprawling, mystical commentary on the Torah. But just calling it a commentary really doesn't do it justice. Not even close.
So what is it? If you were to crack it open, what would you even find? Is it a list of rules you have to follow? A history of ancient people and places? Some kind of dry academic philosophy? The answer is, well, it's none of those things. It's something way more interesting, and it's the secret to its power.
And that brings us to the first huge reveal about what the Zohar really is. It isn't a collection of doctrines. It's a story about an incredible circle of friends.
That's right. The Zohar, this massive work of mysticism, is framed as a story. This is not your standard religious text. It wraps all of its deepest, most profound secrets in a narrative about a master and his students on a journey.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're in 2nd century Galilee, under Roman rule. The hero of our story is the legendary sage Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. As the tradition goes, he and his son had to hide from the Romans in a cave for 13 years. And in that cave, they supposedly tapped into the deepest secrets of the cosmos. When they finally came out, Rabbi Shimon gathered a small, hand-picked group of students to share what he'd discovered.
And here they are. Let's meet the crew. This group is known as the Hakirah, which just means the companions or the friends. And these characters, they are the heart and soul of the Zohar. They're the vessel through which all its wisdom flows.
So you have this master and his companions. Where does all this incredible teaching happen? Well, that leads us to another totally unique part of the Zohar. Their classroom. It didn't have any walls.
See, instead of some formal school or academy, the whole setting for the Zohar is the mystical landscape of ancient Galilee itself. These friends are almost always on the move, walking through fields and forests, journeying from one village to the next.
And this is where it gets so cool. The deepest mystical ideas aren't just lectured, they pop up organically, right in the middle of their travels. Just picture it. They're walking down a dusty road, and one of them sees, I don't know, a tree blooming. That reminds him of a line from Scripture, and he asks a question. And suddenly, bam! A profound secret about the nature of God is revealed, right there on the path. The journey itself is what sparks the revelation.
So you start to see this incredible pattern, this Zoharic method. It all starts with movement, with a journey. That journey sparks a conversation between the friends. That conversation blossoms into a deep, mystical teaching, which in the end reveals a divine secret. It's this living, unfolding process of discovery.
Now this raises a really big question. Why? Why do it this way? Why wrap all these profound ideas in a story about a road trip? Well, the answer is that the story isn't just window dressing. The story is the secret.
This just lays it out so clearly. Think about a typical religious text. It gives you rules, laws, maybe some history. It gives direct commands. It's often a monologue from a single authority figure. But the Zohar, it completely flips the script. Instead of rules, you get dialogues and stories. Instead of commands, you get allegories to puzzle over. And it's not a monologue, it's a collaborative discovery among friends. And here is the absolute heart of it. The main message of the Zohar is all about connection. Connection between us and God, and just as importantly, connection between each other. And the genius of it is, it doesn't just tell you that, it shows you, by making the entire book a story about a group of friends learning and growing together. This quote from Rabbi Shimon, wow, it gives you a peek into how this connection is supposed to work. It's like a symphony. One person speaks the idea, another engages with it and asks questions, a third writes it down, and everyone else is participating internally, in their hearts. Every single person has a vital role to play.
And this, right here, is the big takeaway. The Zohar isn't just a book about mystical connection. The book itself is meant to be a product of that connection. The form,
perfectly mirrors the function. You know that saying, the medium is the message? This is the ultimate example of that.
Okay, so let's zoom out. What's the lasting legacy of this incredible approach? Why does this way of thinking still matter so much to us today?
What the Zohar does so brilliantly is it takes this incredibly dense, complex, cosmic system and it makes it human. It turns the search for truth into a story about friendship, about the pure excitement of discovery, and about the beauty of understanding something together.
And maybe the most radical idea it leaves us with is this. The greatest truths aren't just a static list of rules to be memorized and followed. Truth is something alive. It's a living reality that actually emerges in the space between people, in the dialogue, in the shared journey.
And that's the thought I want to leave you with. In a world that often wants answers written in stone, the Zohar suggests something different. It asks, what if the most profound truths aren't found in a book of rules at all, but are discovered together on a journey between friends?